Intelligent Ramblings presents Intelligent College Football. Hosted by Bill Lofton, Gary Glenn, William Howington, and John Coleman.
Welcome to Intelligent Ramblings presents College Football. I'm your host, Bill Lofton, with our other host, Mr. John Cohn, top left, and William Howington down there at the bottom. Gary Glenn is out on assignment, and we've got his picks, but William, so used to saying William. Gary is not here, and we want to hope you're doing well and safe and happy and enjoying your assignment. We had some games last week. We didn't have any barn busters. The ones that I'm talking about are the let's see. Let's look at Oregon USC. Oregon 42 USC. Is this changed in the last 20 years or what?
It has. I think it changed a lot right around the time that Dan Lanning got to Oregon. USC was one of those teams that, always did well, went to a bowl game.
I would call it a top five
like
power.
Yes.
Yeah. A top five power. I mean, they had national championships out to Yin Yang. I think they're probably in the top three of national championships all time. And then they went bare for about, 10 years?
At least.
Yeah, they were kind of lost in the
John
wilderness.
Robinson as coach. They were pretty good back in the 70s.
Yep. And I would say the last time I remember a really good USC team was when they played Texas in the national championship. Everybody's got to remember that. When I'm trying to think, what was that quarterback from Texas? His name, tall guy, won the Heisman. Shite.
Are you thinking of Vince Young?
Vince Young.
Yeah, he was good.
He was amazing, and that's about the time they kind of disappeared. But
you would always see John Robinson on one sideline and Bo Schembechler from Michigan or Woody Hayes from Ohio State on the other sideline.
That was in 2005.
When Vince Young played?
Yeah, and I think that's when they had that game I was talking about. Everybody on the planet watched it. It was basically a national championship game. And USC was picked, and Texas beat them. Let's see, BYU, 26, Cincinnati, 14. No real, it's not what you didn't expect, pretty much. One thing I don't understand about BYU is they're 10-1. They've beaten two ranked teams, and they're not in the top 10. I think BYU is a very good ball club, and I think teams that are like Alabama, they got 2 losses. They ought not to be in top 10. But BYU will surprise you.
Yeah, they got a good football team.
And
Coach has been there forever. I think he's been there like 25 years.
Yeah. And they've been consistently upper echelon. I wouldn't put them to the top. Oh, look at here. Mr. Glenn is going to join us for we don't know how long. And there he is.
All
Mr.
right.
Glenn, can you hear us? I can see you, but
Yeah.
well, there he is. Wow. Gary is off on the islands.
He's on assignment in a tropical destination.
Yes, a tropical destination is where he is on assignment to.
Yeah, don't know how long I can stay, fellas, but thought I'd drop in, tell you it's been a beautiful day in Turks and Caicos.
Nice.
It's a beautiful part of the world.
I would imagine. That is a gorgeous part of the world. And let's see, the one barn burner we had last week was Utah and Kansas State. And I actually would love to see Kansas State won that simply because I like their quarterback. He's got hair that's longer than mine. So, you know, I think that's the only thing I know about him really well is the fact that, and he likes to run. He's a good running quarterback. But the one game last week that surprised the world was Pittsburgh 42 and Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 28. And to me, it's not the fact that they beat them, because Pittsburgh's got a pretty good team. It's how they beat them. They put 42 points on Tech.
It's going into a scoring contest. Tech came out on the short end, which may or may not be good news for Georgia.
Well, it's probably got their stinger kind of warped a little bit, so they may not be as tough as you think. We were wondering if Tech was pretenders. I mean, they started off on fire, but they've had a couple losses since then to North Carolina State and now Pittsburgh. And they're fixing to get their ass waxed when they go to, well, or when Georgia comes to Tech. But I don't know what the condition is of their quarterback, but we will see. And another I would consider an upset was Wisconsin 27 and Illinois 10. Illinois has got a pretty good team, and we thought they may be up in the top 3 or 4 until they ran into I think it was Oregon. They beat them. No, it was Indiana.
Indiana, yeah.
Beat them like a bad dog. I mean, just trounced them. But that was one of those games that whoever scores last is going to win. Except the fact that Arizona scored an extra 30 points. But it was a pretty laid-back weekend as far as college football went. None of the big teams were playing anybody. Ohio State was playing nobody. University, Georgia played Charlotte, which was so far past a mismatch that it wasn't even funny. I mean, imagine this. You're Charlotte, and you're playing in a smaller league, number one. Number two, you are 1-9, which means you're not very good any way you look at it, and you're playing the number 4 team in the country. But I like to give kudos to Charlotte. They stayed in there with them. They didn't back down.
And they got a good payday.
$1.9 million for doing it.
Do what?
They got $1.9 million, I think, for playing Georgia.
Well, I hope it was worth it. But I tell you what, guys, let's take a quick commercial, and then we'll come back and do a little picking.
Intelligent Ramblings is brought to you in part by Pat Williamson, a proud Dragon alumnus and a strong supporter of Jefferson athletics and academics.
All right, here we are. It's Rivalry Week, 26th November 2025. And we're going to start off with it real quick here. Here's the big one. And it's Ohio State at number 1 in the country and undefeated. At number 18, Michigan, who has won the last couple games.
Yeah, this is at the Big House there in Michigan, Ann Arbor. Ohio State, coached by Ryan Day, everybody's favorite coach. They lost to Michigan last year, 13-10, but they won the national championship. Right now, they're 11-0, 8-0 in the Big Ten, and they're out to defend their national championship. They're led by quarterback Julian Saban, 239 completions and for 2,832 yards. Rushing, Bo Jackson, no, not that Bo Jackson, has 128 carries for 835 yards. Receiving, Jeremiah Smith has 66 receptions for 902 yards. Cornell Tate has 39 receptions for 711 yards. Michigan's led by Coach Sharon Moore, 9-2, 7-1 in the Big Ten. Quarterback Bryce Underwood, with 171 completions for 2,168 yards, is their leading passer. Rushing, Jordan Marshall has 145 carries for 877 yards. And receiving, Andrew Marsh has 42 receptions for 661 yards. This is the big game of the year. Michigan coach Sharon Moore and Ryan Day. You don't get any better than this. It's called The Game for a reason. For 100 years, it's been voted the top rivalry game. Justice Haynes is injured and may be out for Michigan. He played at Buford, of course, and his daddy, Veron Haynes, is the University of Georgia fullback, former University of Georgia fullback, that caught the Hobnell Booth pass against Tennessee years ago. So if he's out, Michigan's running attack will be not quite as good. So I'm going with Ohio State. They got something to prove. Ohio State to cover.
Well,
guys, I've got to break away. I think this is the year that Ohio State snaps the Michigan jinx. I think they cover. And I'm going to say to all of everybody out there, happy Thanksgiving. Love you guys. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
We appreciate
Are you
it, Gary.
signing off?
Appreciate you.
Got to run.
All right. Thanks for being here, Gary. We appreciate
Thank
you
Gary.
taking time
All
out
right, man.
to say hello.
Talk to you later.
See ya. All right. That was Gary from the islands, no doubt. You know what? I'm going to wait and make my pick until I find out about the running back from Michigan, because if he was healthy, I would pick Michigan. I think Ohio State's is about time for their comeuppance and time to get knocked out of number one spot. I think that Michigan has got one of the best running attacks in the country, and I really, really would like to see them beat Ohio State.
As much as I would love to see that happen, I'm going with Ohio State, but not to cover that 10-point spread. I think Michigan's going to give them a good scare, though.
I think it'll be a good game. I look forward to it.
That game is on at 12 p.m. on Fox.
Number three.
Got a lot of good games at 12 p.m.
Number 3, Texas A&M at number 17, Texas.
So this is on Friday. This game is on Friday, 7:30 p.m. on ABC. ESPN Analytics gives Texas a 51% chance of winning, which is to say it's a toss-up. Our coaches are Texas A&M, coached by Mike Elko, and Texas is coached by Steve Sarkisian. Texas A&M is ranked 9th in the Football Power Index, and Texas is ranked 12th. Texas A&M has a perfect 11-0 overall and 7-0 SEC season record. Texas is 8-3 overall and 5-2 in SEC play. Excuse me.
You all right?
I've got Bill's cough, I think.
Well, you don't want it. I've had it for a fucking week.
Well, give it to me.
So this is a rivalry that dates back to 1894, 131 years ago, if my math is correct. Texas currently leads the series, 77 wins, 37 losses, 5 ties. So Texas A&M has a lot of work to do to even that record back up. The teams played last year and Texas won 17-7. They were at Texas A&M. These are two evenly matched teams statistically. I think Texas A&M will win if two or three things break their way. Number one, Marcel Reed has a good game passing and running. They do not turn the ball over. I mean, like not even once, which Reed has a propensity to do. Special teams makes a contribution. They have a really good returner on special teams, and the defense plays better than their season average, which has not been great. They're going to need a contribution from all phases to win. Texas defense is better than A&M's, and their offense is playing better now as Arch Manning has grown during the season. Texas is playing at home, but in spite of that, I've got Texas A&M to win and cover.
I'm going to agree with you, John. I think Texas A&M just got too many good aspects to their team. I am not impressed with Texas. I mean, last week, week 4 last when they played Georgia, they got 23 yards rushing, and Texas A&M has got a defense that's on the same level with Georgia. I think that they just got too much this year for Texas to handle them, and I think Texas is going to be going to the Tangerine Bowl or something like that.
They are Texas A&M when they are hot. They are really hot.
And Texas A&M is well coached. Mike Elko is a incredibly good coach, and the jury's still out there on Texas coach. The way they got totally and absolutely surprised on that onside kick with Georgia just tells me that they did not research Kirby quick enough or well enough to understand that he's going to do something crazy every game, and you've got to be prepared every time that he's going to do something like that he did. And I think it'll come back to him, and it'll really and it did. So Texas A&M and to cover. Easily.
Yeah, I'm going with Texas A&M to cover. Not easily, but to cover. I almost put not cover, but Texas is pretty good.
One more thing about Texas A&M was that last week or 2 weeks ago, when they came back from 27 points down to beat, was it South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Was, yeah. I mean, they just came roaring back.
Yeah.
And when they're hot, and I don't think Texas is going to be able to contain them the whole game.
No. Number 4, Georgia at number 16, Georgia Tech. Georgia's got a 14.5 point spread. It's going to be held at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, which is basically a home stadium to Georgia. And it's Friday, November 28th at 3:30 p.m., and it's going to be on ESPN. Georgia Tech started out on fire this year, going undefeated in their first 8 games. But since then, they have picked up 2 losses to North Carolina State and Pitt, and barely squeaked by a terrible Boston College team by 3 points. So, what happened? Earlier, it's been said that as long as quarterback Haynes King is healthy, nobody could stop Tech. But he has had a lower body injury that he's been nursing from earlier this season and a shoulder injury from last year that he has managed through maintenance and strength training. He is now considered healthy enough to practice and expected to play in the game. Georgia started differently. The Dogs did not look like a championship caliber team. The offense looked sleepy and the defense looked porous, but they still won. Well, except for the 3-point loss to Alabama. But something happened and the Dogs came alive and put 43 points on the undefeated Ole Miss Rebels. And since then, the offense has looked potent and the defense has looked scary. The quote I saw recently sums up the Georgia Bulldogs at this point. Nobody wants to play them, which is a good thing. Georgia for the win and to cover handily.
I feel like Georgia matches up really well against Georgia Tech's defense. And I think that, I don't know what happened to Haynes King during the first quarter of that game against Pitt, unless Pitt just gave them looks on defense that they had not prepared for. But he was really off the entire first quarter. And then they were kind of stuck behind on the scoreboard, and they had to play the way Pitt wanted them to. So I'm thinking that Georgia can do the same thing. So yeah, I've got Georgia to win, but I'm going to say not cover.
I think Georgia will cover. Are y'all hearing me?
Yep. I think that they'll cover plus. I don't even think this is going to be a ball game.
Well, I don't know. Don't say that.
Tech's not the same team that started off. There's something going on with them, and they're just not the same team by any means. So I think they're done. They'll go to the bowl game though.
Oh yeah.
Maybe the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, number 6 at Mississippi State.
All right, Ole Miss. This is the Egg Bowl, and it's going to be played Friday at noon on ABC. Friday. Again, I repeat, Friday at noon. The Egg Bowl. Ole Miss is coached by Lane Kiffin. They're 10-1, 6-1 in the SEC. Was that lone loss to Georgia, and it was a good loss. And the sports world is waiting to see if he stays or leaves for Florida. I'm thinking if he was staying at Ole Miss, he would have said so. And he says he's not going to make a decision until after the Egg Bowl. So it kind of leads me to believe he's going to Florida. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Leading Ole Miss at quarterback is Trinidad Shambliss, who has 196 completions for 2,667 yards. Russian Kenyon Lacey has 231 carries for 1,136 yards. Shambliss has 440 yards rushing, so you can see he can carry the football too, so it's not just a one-dimensional pass. He's a very good quarterback. Receiving, Harrison Wallace has 42 receptions for 647 yards. And Ole Miss is very potent on offense. Mississippi State's going to have to really play good defense. They're 5-6, 1-6 in the SEC, and they're coached by Jeff Levy. Passing, Blake Sharpen is 195 completions for 2,433 yards. Rushing, Fluff Bothwell has 111 carries for 559 yards.
And it looks like we just lost William. Let's give him a second, see if he can reboot. I think that Ole Miss is going to win this game. No doubt about it. There it is. He's back. And he's gone again.
So I've got Ole Miss to win and cover, and I, for one, hope that Lane Kiffin stays right where he is. I think it makes for good headlines and good clickbait online to hear that he's going to Florida, he's going to LSU. I think he's a believer in Ole Miss, and I think he's going to stay.
I think he's comfortable there, and he's done an amazing job there. And if you can do what he's done in a couple of years at Ole Miss, who's always been the 75 team or a 6-6 team, and at the best, that was a good season for Ole Miss back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're sixth in the nation, one loss the whole season. I think that he has built something there, and it would be, will it come down to money? I don't know. They're going to have to offer him something crazy, guarantee him crazy money to get him out of Ole Miss. But I think if he doesn't stay at Ole Miss, it's all about the money, period.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't about nothing else. And
well, I think he's going to stay. His kid is playing high school football in Mississippi, and so I think he has a lot of reasons to stay. Could be wrong.
I've been on Florida's campus, and I've been on Ole Miss's campus, and I'm going to tell you what, I'd much rather be at Ole Miss. That's a much nicer campus, and it's not hot, and you don't have to worry about those damn alligators.
All good things.
All good things. Number 7, Oregon at Washington.
So this game is on Saturday in the afternoon, 3:30 on CBS. ESPN Analytics gives Oregon a 75% chance of winning. Our coaches are Oregon is coached by Dan Lanning. Washington is coached by Jed Fish. Oregon is ranked 4th in the Football Power Index. Washington is at 21st. Oregon has a 10-1 overall record and is 7-1 in the Big Ten. And Washington has an 8-3 overall record and is 5-3 in the Big Ten. Oregon's won all of its last 5 games, and Washington has lost 2 of its last 5 games. Oregon has a good defense, allowing only 15 points per game on average. That's 8th in the FBS. Their offense is good. Dante Moore, Noah Whittington, and Kenyon Sadiq are all names to watch for. They're playing their last game of the regular season. It's a conference game. Go Ducks. Oregon to win and cover the spread.
I absolutely agree. I don't think this should be much of a game.
Yeah, Oregon to cover. Am I back on?
No, you're not here.
You're on. You're good, William.
Okay, I'm not here.
Nope.
Okay. Oregon to cover.
Alabama at Auburn. Number 10, Alabama. Then Alabama's 6.5-point favorite. It's at 7:30 p.m. at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. If you don't know college football, you would think this is a slam dunk for Alabama, but it never is. Alabama is 9-2 and Auburn is 5-6, but that doesn't really matter because these teams really don't like each other. Nothing would make Auburn's seasons better than to knock Alabama out of contention for the playoffs. Alabama's Ty Simpson is one of the best in the country with 2,934 yards passing and 22 TDs with only 4 interceptions. If Auburn is unable to get after him and make him throw a pick six like Oklahoma did, it could be a long night. Alabama's rushing attack is not their forte. With 17 offensive players listed running the ball, they only have 1,356 yards combined. So that is definitely a weakness that Alabama has not experienced in years with not having a dominant running back. Auburn's Jackson Arnold, the 5-star rated quarterback who transferred from Oklahoma, was a bust, to say the least. With 1,309 yards passing, 6 TDs, and an abysmal quarterback rating of 47.6, he got benched along with his 30 sacks. That's right, I said 30 sacks. Ashton Daniels has taken over, and the Tigers almost upset Vandy last week. So maybe that's what Auburn needs to give Alabama a true contest at the Iron Bowl. Auburn is one of the best teams in the country at forcing turnovers with 17, so this could get spicy. This game is at Auburn, and I'm not impressed with Alabama on the road. So I'm going with this massive upset, Auburn to be crowned king of the Iron Bowl.
Well, I thought about that. I think Auburn has a good shot at it, but I'm going to go with Alabama to cover. I think they got a lot to prove. They got a lot going for them. They want to play in the SEC championship. Of course, it would help Georgia if they got beat, but I think Alabama is going to win.
I actually want Alabama to win because I don't want Georgia to play in this conference championship.
I have got Alabama to win and cover the spread, but I think Auburn, as usual, does something like blocks a punt, copies something from Georgia's playbook and does a onside kick in the middle of the third quarter, somehow gets a couple of picks on Alabama's quarterback. I mean, 4 interceptions over almost 3,000 yards passing. That's pretty amazing for the season for Alabama's quarterback. So, like I said, I've got Alabama to win and cover.
I think Alabama's quarterback is in the top 3 in the country. I really do. I think he is really good and composed is the word I was trying to think of. He's composed, and you're just not going to shake him. He's going to keep throwing those darts. But I don't think that Alabama's got those first-day draft pick wide receivers they've had for the last couple of years, and I don't think they've got the defense. I just don't think they do, and I think that Auburn's going to upset them.
It could happen.
Yeah, that'd be a good pick to have, Auburn.
Number 14, Vanderbilt. At number 20, Tennessee.
Well, this one's at 3:30 on ESPN Saturday. Vandy's coached by Clark Lee. Clark Lee has done a tremendous job at Vanderbilt, and I wouldn't be surprised if he hit in the SEC Coach of the Year. They're 9-2, 5-2 in the SEC. They lost to Alabama and Texas, 2 pretty good teams. They're led by quarterback Diego Pavia. Pavia has 224 completions for 2,924 yards. Rushing, Pavia has 132 carries for 661 yards. You can see that he is a tremendous asset for the Commodores as he passes and rushes. Cedric Alexander has 92 rushes for 445 yards. So he's second leading rusher behind the quarterback. Receiving, tight end Eli Stowers, 57 catches for 705 yards, and Trey Richardson, 34 catches for 604 yards. This is the best record Vandy has had at this time of the year in the history of the school. Tennessee is led by Josh Heupel, who's the coach. They're 8-3, 4-3 in the SEC. Quarterback Joey Aguilar has 229 completions for 2,145 yards. Russian Deshaun Bishop has 143 carries for 836 yards. And Star Thomas, 94 rushes for 529 yards. Receiving, Chris Brazil has 56 catches for 926 yards. I don't know if it's an upset or not, but I'm going with Tennessee. Tennessee's ranked 20th, Vanderbilt's 14. I think Tennessee's going to win this game. And I don't know if they have to cover or not. Obviously, if they're the favorite, I think they will cover.
I'm going to have to agree with William. I think Tennessee has got a really good ball club, and I think that they're playing at Tennessee, which gives them, that adds a touchdown at least to be playing at Neyland Stadium, which is a psychotic group of orange rednecks hollering at you for the entire time. So I think that'll make it. I think that will make the difference. I think they're really evenly based teams, and they're, as far as wins and losses and anything else, I think they're very evenly. But I just think because they're at Tennessee, I'm gonna pick the Volunteers.
I hear you about the.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, I hear you about the home field advantage at Neyland Stadium, but I've got Vanderbilt in an upset. The spread, I think, tells the story. It's such a close game, and Vanderbilt they have found a way to win these games all season long. They've been the underdog in many, if not most, of their games, and this week is no exception. I think it's they feel like it's their year, and they're gonna pull out a victory when they play Tennessee. So I've got Vanderbilt to win in an upset.
All right.
I mean, if you go by the spread, you know, at the time that the spread right now is just so close that it's almost like, why bother? Are they, you know, is Tennessee really favored or not? But anyway, I think Vanderbilt's going to win.
UCLA at number 15, USC.
We were talking about USC earlier and how they were back in the day a football powerhouse, and UCLA occasionally would have a good season, and this game would be a great contest. And I really think that it still could be a good game. It's worth watching because of all the history behind the game. Speaking of watching, this game is on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on NBC. ESPN Analytics gives USC a 95% chance of winning. UCLA is coached by Tim Skipper, and USC is coached by Lincoln Riley. USC is ranked 11th in the Football Power Index, and UCLA is down at 79th. So prediction-wise, there's not a lot to note about this game. USC is one of the better mid-tier teams in the Big Ten, and UCLA is one of the lower-tier teams. USC has a better team and is expected to win. UCLA has Nico Iamaleava, formerly of Tennessee, for offensive fireworks, but watch Jaden Maiva and Makai Lemon of USC for the real show. USC to win and cover the spread. That's a 22-point spread, by the way.
How much?
21.5, but so, USC's got to score 22 points, but I think they can do it.
Yeah, I think so too. I got SC and cover and spread.
Well, I will have to admit that I have enjoyed watching the demise of the quarterback from UCLA. I'm not going to attempt to say his name. The way he left Tennessee and left them in the lurch and went for the money and ended up getting less money and a 3-8 season. So too bad. You are everything. If you want to look up what's wrong with college football, look that guy's name up if you can figure out how to spell it. So I'm hoping they get the hell beat out of them, and I'm picking USC and to cover.
All right.
Missouri, number 22 at Arkansas. This is going to be held at 3:30 p.m. at Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas on the SEC/ESPN network. Missouri is ranked number 22 in the country, and Arkansas is 2-9 with an interim coach. Doesn't say a lot of confidence in the Tigers' ability, but Arkansas has lost 6 of those games by a total of 14 points. Arkansas put 42 points on Texas A&M, the undefeated and number 3 team in the country. Missouri has had a quarterback issue all year long. First number 1 starter Sam Horn was lost in the first game of the season for the season. Now number 2 starter Bo Pribula is trying to return after dislocating his ankle. And number 3 starter Matt Zollers has been filling in and showing promise, but he is a true freshman. Coach Eli Drinkwitz has stated that Zollers played well in his starts, but Pribula is the starter when healthy. Arkansas quarterback has passed for 2,655 yards and 19 TDs with a QBR of 78.6. And junior running back Mike Washington is a 1,000-yard rusher with 8 TDs. So the Razorbacks do have an offense, but the problem seems to be their .4 average is 34.4, and their points against average is 34.1, with their defense ranked 126th in the country. That seems to be the problem. They can't stop anyone with a good offense. Does Missouri have a good offense? Well, they average 32.3 points per game. And with the inconsistency at quarterback, especially playing at Razorback Stadium with a freshman, it could definitely help the not-so-good defense of Arkansas. In a massive upset, the Hogs win.
That is a massive upset, and I didn't go with the Hogs. I went with Missouri, even though they're at Arkansas and Fayetteville. Missouri to cover. I can't see how much the cover is, but I'll take it.
It is
2.5 points.
2.5 points. Definitely cover.
Yeah, so Bill, are you out on the double upset limb?
I am.
This week?
Yes, this is going to be known as the upset weekend in rivalry action.
Well, as much as I would love for Arkansas to win, last week I was talking about how if I was an aspiring head coach, Arkansas would be a really good place to land. I've got Missouri to win and cover. I think they finally get their offense back on track, and it's just going to be a little too much even though it's a 2.5 point spread, a little too much for Arkansas. I hate it for Arkansas. I wish they had had a better season.
Yeah,
But like I said,
they would have kept their coach.
yeah.
But the thing about Arkansas, like I pointed out, they lost 6 games with a total of 14 points. 6 games.
Yeah, and played right with Texas A&M last weekend.
LSU beat them by 1 point. You know, I mean, they could have been easily been a 8-3 team, easily. Easy for you to say from F. Cone. Okay, I must have missed something. Who is?
She was. I think she put that comment in when we were talking about UCLA's quarterback, Nico Iamaleava. Yes, she says that's right, and
okay.
It's not easy for any of us to say.
All right, I got that covered. All right, and we'll move on. Clemson at South Carolina. There's no numbers in front of either one of them this year.
Yeah, I'm afraid both of them had a terrible year. This is the Palmetto Bowl, since South Carolina is the Palmetto State. Palmetto, of course, is some kind of palm tree with very sharp points on the bark. You got to be careful of that. You get ate up with them. Clemson is 6-5, so at least they've made a bowl game. They've come on kind of strong here lately. They're 4-5 in the ACC. It's coached by Dabo Swinney, and Lord knows he needs this win big time to avoid an absolute terrible year. 6-6 would be awful, considering they started out in the top 5 in the nation at the beginning of the year. They're led by quarterback Cade Klubnik, who has 211 completions for 2,482 yards. Rushing, Adam Randall has 133 rushes for 677 yards. Receiving, TJ Moore has 40 receptions for 653 yards. So they're not too shabby on offense. Their defense has been kind of letting them down, but the offense has too. South Carolina is coached by Shane Beamer. Of course, his daddy was a longtime coach at Virginia Tech.
Right.
Yep.
And they're 4-7, 1-7 in the ACC. In the SEC. He really needs a win too. Quarterback Lenore Sellers has 155 completions for 2,056 yards. Rushing, Rasul Faison has 91 rushes, 433 yards, and Sellers, the quarterback, has 137 rushes for 268 yards. Receiving, Nick Harbor has 24 receptions for 503 yards. I think the SEC wins this one. Go with South Carolina to cover if they're favored.
I'm going with Clemson. I think Dabo's got another win in him somewhere.
I'm going with South Carolina. I think they finally put together a win. They've been close the last few games, as we were saying earlier. They put 27 points on Texas A&M in the first half when they played them. And I think that if they can find a way to hold Clemson to 2 touchdowns and a field goal, then they'll win. So I've got South Carolina to win and cover.
I can't believe they're favored. I guess because it's at South Carolina.
I think that's the only reason I can come up with. It's not like it's a big spread or anything. Although I will say, I don't know. I guess that's the default spread that you get if you're the home team.
Thank you for your support there, F. Cone. We appreciate it. Saying the fact I'm picking Clemson.
We have a good friend named Chris who's a Clemson alumni, and he suffers from neurofibromatosis and is just one of the best people you would ever want to meet. So I should, if I was sentimental about Clemson and Chris, I would say Clemson for the win, but I'm going to stick with my pick, South Carolina.
Well, I'm going to go with Clemson because I'm going to be up there next month shooting one of their graduations. So I've made lots of friends up there that work in the Coliseum, and you should have seen their face last time I went up there. They were like depressed, and I don't want those guys to be depressed. Go Tigers.
And our former roommate there, John, Dr. Ricky Davis.
Professor Davis.
Professor. I think he's retired, but he was there for like 30-something years.
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
Forestry man.
Yeah.
North Carolina. Go ahead, John.
Sorry, Bill. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
North Carolina at North Carolina State.
So this game is, I've been to this game as a kid, and it's an intense rivalry like any other in-state rivalry. And it's like Clemson at South Carolina or Georgia at Georgia Tech. It's usually either one or both of these teams are not doing well nationally, so it doesn't get a lot of attention. But it should be a good game. ESPN Analytics gives NC State a 78% chance of winning. North Carolina is coached by Bill Belichick. North Carolina State, coached by Dave Doran. NC State comes in at 60th in the Football Power Index. North Carolina is at 88th. So we're not talking about collegiate powerhouses here, but they are proud of their teams. And like I said, it's just like any other in-state rivalry that you might see in Georgia or South Carolina. North Carolina is 4-7 overall this season and 2-5 in the ACC. NC State is 6-5 overall and 3-4 in the ACC. NC State's losses have been quality losses, as we like to say around here. They've lost to the likes of Notre Dame, 36-7, Pitt, 53-34, and Miami, 41-7. I would also like to remind you that they beat Georgia Tech 48-36 3 weeks ago. So there's that. It's an in-state rivalry game, and it's an opportunity to follow the Bill Belichick experiment to its conclusion this season. Hopefully he continues next year. They played better football in the second half of this season. I think he returns. He's following his process, and it just takes time. Speaking of Coach Belichick, was talking with Bill before the show. There's a really interesting article online on ESPN about Coach Belichick and what just kind of follows him around over the course of the season. And you can see he's putting the same things to work at UNC that worked for him in New England. And let's not forget, I mean, he was at the top of his game. He had New England at the top of their game for years in the NFL. He can do it there. He can do it at UNC, I think, is the thinking. So, like I said, he's following his process. It's just going to take time. If you want to beat North Carolina, you better do it this season because it's going to get progressively harder to keep up with those guys. But this year, this game, I've got NC State to win and cover the spread.
Yeah, I almost went with North Carolina because of Bill Belichick, but I went with NC State to cover.
I'm going to go with NC State to cover as well. I will say that Belichick at North Carolina is in his first year. But he is, to me, has not. I don't know. I just get a bad feeling about the guy. He's just kind of came in there like, he was some kind of savior, and North Carolina is going to win the national championship this year because he's who he is. And I think the great debate is, as far as Belichick is concerned, is what was his record before Tom Brady and what was his record after Tom Brady? Because Great Brady was obviously the greatest quarterback of all time to play in the NFL, in my opinion. I mean, you had Montana and you had Peyton Manning and a couple others that were right there with it. But, how many Super Bowls did Brady win? 7 or 8?
Yeah, something like that.
And you don't do that if you're an average quarterback, And he, they said it was his kicker. Well, his kicker got traded, and then they said it was his running back, and then running back got traded, and they kept winning. And the only constant in Belichick's world when they were winning all those Super Bowls was Tom Brady, who I think obviously is the GOAT when it comes to quarterbacks. And you become the GOAT because of championships, not because you're a nice person or you're a great guy or a perfect human being or anything like that. It's who wins championships. And he has won a lot more than anybody else. There's nobody close. Look at his statistics, because I did recently, and I was amazed at how far out ahead of the rest of the world he is in his statistics. There's my rant for the night. Florida State at Florida. Neither one of them are ranked. That's odd. Not. Florida is a 1.5 point favorite on the spread, and they play at 4:30 p.m. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Gainesville, Florida. Florida State started their season with a win over Alabama on national television, and the Seminole fans were elated. They followed that by 2 more easy wins and were back in the ratings and on track. But then came 4 losses in a row, and the Seminoles began to cry, putting them at 5-6 presently, trying to get bowl eligible. Tommy Castellanos has been the offense with 2,520 yards passing and 13 TDs with a QBR of 63.9. And he's also their leading rusher with 480 yards and 8 TDs. Deuce Robinson leads all receivers with 1,021 yards and on 53 receptions and 6 TDs. FSU has been competitive in all its games and with no blowouts. Their worst performance was against the Clemson Tigers in a 14-point loss. So 5-6 could have easily been 8-3 or 9-2. Florida, on the other hand, is 3-8 with an upset over heralded, that's past tense, Texas. But that did not save Billy Napier's job. Billy Gonzalez took over as the interim coach. It seems the Gators cannot get out of the way of its own feet. Their quarterback, DJ Lagway, has 2,096 yards passing with 13 TDs, but with 13 interceptions as well.
Ooh.
And an amazingly low QBR of 43.1. In the points for average category, Florida only averages 19.9, which is 121st in the country, and 24.3 in the points against category. Not sounding promising for the Gators. In a slight 1.5 point upset, I'm going with the Florida State Seminoles to win in Gainesville, and I don't think it will be close, preserving Mike Norvell's job at FSU for another year.
Well, I'm going in the opposite direction. I think they're going to put Norville under there. Florida has too many athletes, and if they decide to play, which I would think they would against a rival like Florida State, Florida will cover the 1.5 points or whatever it is. I think they'll cover more than that. I'm going with Florida.
I've got Florida to win and cover. Also, it's in the swamp, which counts for at least 1.5 points. And I think that maybe somehow, some way, Florida's defense wakes up, and DJ Lagway maybe takes care of the football. He kind of does, and then he kind of doesn't, and that's hurt Florida a lot this year. But if they do those two things, they're a better team than Florida State. So, like I said, I've got Florida to win and cover. And Bill's going out on the triple upset limb this week with Florida State.
That's it. I'm all about the upsets this week.
You might be right on this one.
Rivalry week is when it can happen for sure.
And there's your correct spelling of Belichick. F-Cone.
Right.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's see some results here. Picks for each week. Last week, Gary had 92% correct. William Harrington went
with a 100% week.
All right.
He's had 2 of those in the last 3 weeks.
It's because I picked Pittsburgh over Tech.
Yeah, you did.
All right, there we go. And for the season, Gary's leading at 83%, and then 85% for William. John's at 82%, and I'm real close to catching up. I'm at 81%. That's one of the reasons this final weekend that I wanted to make some outrageous picks, and I'm either going to go really well or I'm in trouble. I might be able to catch up if I get them. If I hit them all, who knows? It might happen. Then cover the spread. William is just waxing us all. Gary got 67%, William with 83%. John and I both down at 58%. And for the season, Gary's at 57%. Williams way out in the lead, probably uncatchable. Then John's at 56%, and I'm at the bottom at 54%. It's because I take these, I take the hard route. Everybody else takes the easy picks, you know, the ones that are supposed to win. They don't never go outside the easy win thing. And picks season total, ESPN versus Intelligent Ramblings. Des, you're down at 44%. Nick's at 56%. Des Howard.
Oh, God, he's terrible.
Nick's at 56%. And Kirk Herbstreit is at 56%. We're almost doubling them. We're getting close. And we got all three of us above 80%, which looks really good at this point. And I'm sure we'll be advertising that very soon, that we're kicking ESPN's ass for the second year in a row. And it ain't close. And we're enjoying
I'm noticing that we've got we've just like this moment added a few viewers. Hi, everybody who's watching. Thank you for being here.
All
I'm
right.
wondering if some of ESPN's attorneys are watching the show tonight,
Maybe.
getting ready to send us a nasty gram.
Oh, send it, please. We'll publish that as well. You can find all these wonderful facts and graphics on our website at www.intelligentramblings.com. Up there in the corner, you got the QR code. If you click on that red boy, that'll take you right to our website. And we, unlike ESPN, those other guys, we publish everything, and we publish it every week, and we leave it up all season. You can go back to the season and see what we picked. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial, and they'll come back for our summarization.
You can do a song and dance.
I like that song. I think it's pretty good. Well,
Well,
we've
we had
got.
Gary back there for a second. I guess we lost. His signal's not so great.
You just lost him again. I was going to bring him in on this, but he blipped on and he blipped off. We got the third round, Elite Eight in the high school playoffs now. Jefferson's still in it.
Yeah, but they got a tough one.
Who are they playing this week, William?
Cairo.
Cairo down in South Georgia. Down in the
Yeah.
bottom part of Georgia where everything
Yeah, but
flows.
they got to come to Jefferson though.
That makes a difference
Yeah,
to a point.
they're
It
real. They're real good and fast.
didn't make a whole lot of difference when North Carolina came to Jefferson, but I think that did you see that Jefferson is in North Carolina's region next year
Oh gosh.
and going to 5A?
Yeah, I knew they were going to 5A. I didn't look at the region.
They're in North Carolina's region, so we'll get to see them every year. Fun. And Jackson County beat the two-time defending 6A champions, Milton. So
Wow.
Jackson County's
congratulations.
only lost one game. They've only lost one game, and that was Jefferson.
Yeah,
That was 10-7 or something like that.
if they played them again, they may not lose. But luckily,
No.
we're not in their classification. But congratulations to Jackson County. North Hall got knocked out.
The Brains beat them.
Gainesville, not sure. I think they lost. I'm not real sure.
No, they didn't lose.
They didn't lose?
They were ahead 42-0 with 1:57 left to go in the third quarter, and a big fight broke out. And
Oh,
they had
that's what I remember the
35
Gainesville
players
game.
suspended. 35 players suspended, but they've got an injunction now, and the Georgia High School Association is postponing the game. They're trying to fight this thing, but they got an injunction saying they could play. I don't know what's going to happen. It's big news right now.
Did they
Mhm.
postpone the game?
Yeah, they postponed it.
Well, who they say?
don't like the fact.
Who they
Well,
say
it was,
started it? I saw
Brunswick
the
definitely
video.
started it. Yeah, Brunswick definitely started it with I think it was number 7. Took off the helmet of one of the Gainesville players and started fighting him, and then took off the helmet of another player, started fighting him. And then number 77, who was in trouble last year, got suspended. Come running in there and pile drive one of the Gainesville players that had their helmet off. And then that's when the benches cleared, when the Brunswick benches cleared, and it was about 60 players against the 11 that were on the field. So Gainesville cleared the benches pretty much. That's how they got 35 suspended. And that's what Gainesville was fighting, the fact that they didn't do anything except go out there on the field. They didn't fight or anything. They just went out there on the field to protect their players. So I
As
don't know
they
how
should
this is
have.
going to turn out. I
Well,
don't know how this is going to turn out with the legal stuff going on.
that would really not be fair, in my opinion, if they started it and the Gainesville kids were just trying to protect their own players. That's, Georgia High School Association sometimes a bunch of assholes anyway. They always have been pompous pricks. But anyway,
Oh, yeah.
I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. If you want to catch us, we're on YouTube. We have a YouTube group, YouTube channel, and we have a Facebook group and a Facebook channel. And you can catch us there. Looks like Gary popped back in. Let's pop him back in real quick.
Hey,
There he is.
We're signing off, Gary. And
Well, just want to let you know that we are holding it down in the Turks and Caicos offshore. Saw the fire show tonight and had to meet the kids and chocolate tasting, and it's just been a really memorable experience. Something that I've never.
It's not going to tip over, is it?
No, although I got close to the edge one time, so went snorkeling, did the whole 9 yards. Y'all touch on the high school playoff situation with Gainesville?
yeah,
This
we all
particular-
talked about it. We talked about all of it.
Well, that's a good thing, I guess. They did get some of their kids back, and I think we were quick to rush to judgment. It sounds like Brunswick was totally at fault, and too bad Gainesville had to get caught in that fallout of all of that. There were only one or two of the Gainesville kids that probably did something they weren't supposed to do, and everybody else was trying to either break it up or get off the field.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I hope everybody has a great weekend and a very happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I'm
happy
thankful.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
I'm thankful that I've got three friends here that I've known for 50 plus years and have many good memories with them, and I do anything in the world for them. So,
Wait,
almost.
how long is? We must be old or something. Are we old?
We're old. We're old as shit. There ain't nobody in this room under 60. Let's put it that way.
60's
Under
in the
60.
rearview mirror for a
It's
long
way
time.
back. Yeah, 60's been. I was young age, 60. Anyway, I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week on Intelligent Ramblings.
All right.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.